take our systems of equations and do word problems with them. So we are going to have to define our variables, like what our variables actually mean, write two equations that represent a situation, and then use one of our methods, either elimination or substitution, to solve the system. Okay, so the first question says, Carlos is 6 years older than his brother Paul. The sum of their ages is 30. Okay, now I know that he's 6 years older, so I'm going to be adding 6. Okay, I also know the sum of their ages, so that means to add also, is 30. Okay, I am going to call my variables, instead of x and y, I'm going to call them C and P to represent Carlos's age and Paul's age. So C is going to be Carlos's age, and P is going to be Paul's age. Okay, so when I go to write this equation, when you are doing word problems and you see the word is, okay, this is a equal sign. And so over here, the word is will be your equal sign. Okay, so this says Carlos is. Well, Carlos is represented by C. Is an equal sign. 6 years older than his brother Paul. So this will be P plus 6. 6 years older than means I'm going to add 6 to Paul's age. And then the sum of their ages, so Carlos plus Paul, will equal 30. Okay? Since I have one equation that is already solved for C, I'm going to use substitution in order to solve this problem. All right, and so to do that, what I'm going to do is take this P plus 6 and plug it in for this C. Okay, so that's going to make me have P plus 6, and then bring down the plus P equals 30. All right, P plus P, if I combine like terms, I get 2P plus 6 equals 30. Subtract 6 from both sides. I get 2P equals 24. And then divide both sides by 2. P equals 12. So that represents Paul's age. Paul is 12 years old. Okay? So now I just need to go back and figure out Carlos's age. Well, Carlos is 6 years older than Paul. So Carlos is 6 years older than Paul. We know Paul was 12, so I'm plugging in that answer that I got, adding 6 to it. So Carlos is 18. And so I'm going to write that as a complete sentence. Paul is 12 years old. Carlos is 18 years old. So I wrote my equations. I used substitution to plug in and solve for the boys' two ages. Okay, so let's look at example 2. All right, a coat costs 3 times as much as a pair of pants. Together, they cost $180. How much does each cost? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to scratch out my X and my Y. I'm going to make this C be the cost of the coat. And then over here, I'm going to have P equal cost of, not pants, pants, the cost of pants. Okay. Now, a coat cost. So a coat cost, that's going to be my equal sign, 3 times. 3 times would just be 3P. Because it's 3 times as much as a pair of pants, so 3P there. Okay, and then together they cost, so together means I'm going to add them. Okay, so on the first sentence, I'll have C equals 3P. 3 times a pair of pants, that equals the cost of the coat. Together, the coat plus the pants equal $180. Okay, again, I'm going to use substitution here. And I'm using substitution because one of them is already solved for C. Okay, so I'm going to take this, plug it in for C. That gives me 3P plus the P equals 180. 3P plus 1P is 4P. And then 180 divided by 4, I think is 45. Yes. So that means you have a pair of pants that cost $45. All right, and so now I know that my coat was 3 times my pants. So 3 times 45. And that will be the cost of my coat, $135. So a pair of pants costs $45. A coat costs $135. And that will be my answer here. All right, let's take a look at the next example on the back. So number 3, 1 saw and 4 hammers cost $72. 2 saws and 6 hammers cost $114. How much does each item cost? So I'm going to define my variables first. I'm going to make this a S for the cost of a saw. And then I'm going to make this one an H for the cost of a hammer. Okay. So my 2 equations, I know that 1 saw and 4 hammers, so 1 saw and 4 hammers are going to cost me $72. So that came from my first sentence. Okay, then my second sentence, 2 saws, so 2S, and 6 hammers, 6H, equals 114. So that will be my 2 equations to represent the situation. And now the method in which I will use to solve this one, because everything is nicely stacked. Okay, I have my S's together, my H's together. I am going to use elimination. Okay. All right, so in order to do this, I need either the S's or the H's to cancel. Okay, the easiest, you want to pick the one that's going to be the easiest to make cancel. Okay, and I can make my S's cancel if I make it a negative 2S. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 2. So I'm going to rewrite this. Okay, if I multiply this top equation, everything, by negative 2, then I will have a problem that I can easily eliminate some stuff. So that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, so I'm multiplying and I get negative 2S. Negative 2 times the 4 is negative 8H. And then negative 2 times 72 is negative 144. So equals negative 144. And then I just bring down the other equation. Okay, so now my S's will cancel. Negative 8h plus 6h is negative 2h. Negative 144 plus 114 is negative 30. I'm going to divide by negative 2. And negative 30 divided by negative 2 will give me 15. So my hammer is $15. Okay, now I need to pick an equation to plug it back in for. It does not matter. I'm just going to go with the first one. So 1 saw and 4 hammers is $72. I know now that the hammers are $15, so I'm plugging that back in. Okay, 4 times 15 is 60. I subtract 60, 72 minus 60, and I have that 1 saw equals 12. Okay, so that final answer here is that a saw is $12 and a hammer is $15. Okay, and then we're going to look at one more example. So example 4. All right, the math club sells candy bars and drinks during football games. 60 candy bars and 110 drinks will sell for $265. 120 candy bars and 90 drinks will sell for $270. What does each item cost? Okay, so I know I'm talking about my candy bars here. I'm going to say that's a C. So C equals the cost of candy. All right, and then I'm going to let D equal the cost of drinks. Okay, so that first sentence, 60 candy bars, 60C, plus 110 drinks will sell for $265. Okay, and then I have another 120 candy bars plus 90 drinks will sell for $270. How much does each cost? Okay, since everything is nicely lined up, I am going to use elimination. Okay, so I think the C is going to be the easiest to figure out how to cancel. If I make it a negative 120, it will cancel with the positive 120. So I will be multiplying the top equation by negative 2. And I'm just going to copy down the other one. All right, so I am going to distribute the negative 2. That'll give me negative 120C. 110 times negative 2 is negative 220D. And 265 times negative 2 is negative 530. Now we'll bring down the other equation. Okay, and those will now cancel. All right, so negative 220 plus 90 is negative 130D. Negative 530 plus 270 is negative 260. And then if I divide my negative 130, it gives me that my drinks are $2. Okay, so now if I know that my drinks are $2, I take either equation and plug it back in. So I'm going to take the top. 60C plus 110D equals 265. Okay, so I know my drinks are now $2. 60C plus 110 times 2 equals 265. So 110 times 2 is 220. We'll subtract 220 from both sides. If I subtract that, I get 45. Divide by 6. 60. I was about to say, that is a very expensive candy bar. My bad. 60. 45 divided by 60 gives me 0.75. So that means your candy bars are 75 cents. Okay, so when I go to write my answer, so drinks are $2 each. Candy bars are 75 cents each. And that will be your final answer there.